So this is Jessie Lee Vickers. She owns JLV Creative. Come on up, Jessie.
Here. Thank you for having me. I've known Faith forever.
Stairs are over here.
What?
I think stairs are over here.
You don't want to like lunge to get up there? We can do it.
We can stay down here too, but the chairs are comfy.
So I'm so happy to be here, and I'm blown away by how many people have decided to attend this conference and all the support that Faith has gotten. Faith and I are very good friends. And so I remember her talking about this thing she wanted to do before it was ever a thing. And in terms of someone who leads a life of intention, I think that Faith kind of embodies that, and I'm really proud of all the things that she's accomplished. But this has really been such a dream of hers, and I'm just so happy that all of you are here.
The point is, we didn't sit up here to talk about me. So Jessie, can you tell us a little bit about JLV Creative?
I can. So we're a design firm. We're a little different than what you guys do. We do interior design, and we have an office right here in Mount Pleasant, and we also have an office in Greenville. We have 16 people on our team, and we do projects all over the country. Started about 10 years ago, and never had any clue that it would be what it is and that I would have a team as large as I do today. But it's really exciting. Got a lot of good projects going on.
I don't know about you guys, but the first channel I turn to when I turn the TV on is HGTV. And so this is just something that I love. But can you tell us a little bit about what's been your favorite project that you've done? Because you've done a good amount of like not only houses, but like businesses in downtown Charleston, in Nashville and Greenville, New York. Yeah. What's been your favorite project so far?
Well, I feel like I'm not a mom, but you know how moms always say they don't have like a favorite child? I kind of feel that way about what projects we're working on. And I feel like whatever my current projects are, those are my favorite projects because I'm so excited about the things that we're doing. And I have identified recently, though, that as we've grown and as we're focused on intention as a company and not just personally, I've had to really be thoughtful about our ideal client. And I always find that like the projects that I'm working on that are aligned, that, we're with that ideal client, those are always my favorite. The process is so seamless. And so we've done a ton of work here on Daniel Island, but I have a project right now that is actually on Johns Island. A woman came down from Connecticut and bought basically a small island and is building an incredible house. And she's so creative and she's so lovely and her husband's so lovely. And it's just, we become friends with a lot of our clients. It's a really nice process to be involved in something that is so special and personal to them.
So to give the women an idea of the scope of JLV Creative, tell me about one of the biggest projects that you've done.
Well, because we have a group of 16 people, we have different divisions. So we have a model home division, and we do model homes in 3 different markets, and we probably do 12 a year. We have a division that's dedicated to a semi-custom builder across 3 different markets, and we probably work with 500 homeowners in a more minimal basis. And then we have another division, which is our more custom residential and boutique commercial. And those designers, we probably handle 35 projects a year. Some of our bigger projects are 20,000 square feet. We have a really cool one in the Hudson River Valley right now that we're working on for this totally amazing intentional woman who's a single woman that just is such a cool person, and she's building this really cool compound, and her builder built Gwyneth Paltrow's house and Paul Rudd's house, and so it's a little surreal that we are working on some of the things that we're working on these days. I feel very grateful.
So this is where you are now. Tell us a little bit about where you came from.
Oh goodness. A different place. So I grew up in Maryland. I came down here when I was around 13, but my mom was a single mom, and we didn't have, two nickels to rub together, so we moved constantly. And I think that's kind of where my love for design and creating a space that felt really good came from. Every time we'd move, I had to make it feel like home, And so we moved a lot. I was always really interested in growth and stability. I didn't really have a whole lot of financial stability. So I think from a very young age, I subconsciously had the intention of finding stability, getting away from any toxicity, finding financial footing. So when I was around 16, I actually went and got my GED so that I could start working full time. I did that. I moved out, worked a few jobs, got an associate's from Trident, transferred over to, again, that was an intentional move, didn't want to spend a ton of money on a 4-year university. So I knocked out 2 years there, went to C of C, finished up everything over there for my bachelor's. And I was just working my little tail off. It was like, gotta get my footing. And so I ended up working for an apparel company, and the owner of it was total happenstance that I ended up there. She was brilliant, just brilliant. She had done other, businesses before and been really successful. And I just kept finding ways to help them. I was supposed to go for 1 day and be done. And, after day 1, I said, well, why don't you have a catalog? And why don't you have this? And I'll come back tomorrow, pay me hourly, and I'll work on it for you. And that turned into a job that I had for a couple of years where I was the right hand to this woman who taught me so much about running a lean startup and, believing in yourself. And it was a really incredible opportunity. So I had a cap there, though. If my intention is financial stability and to be kind of the master of my own destiny, then making, at the time, $30,000 a year wasn't really cutting the mustard, So I had to make a decision to make a change.
So this was where JLV Creative came in, right? Yeah. So what was your vision when you started JLV Creative?
Well, it was always a hobby of mine, and I just basically said, look, I got nothing to lose. I'm a broke 20-something. I'm going to give it a whirl. Everybody says I'm talented at this. Everybody wants my help. But I don't know that I thought big enough to have a vision as to what we are doing today. I think when I started the business, my vision was that I would be working alone, maybe with a helper, and that I would, take on smaller projects and make a decent living. But because I've always had a growth mindset and I've always wanted more and I've wanted to challenge myself, every time that a new opportunity came up that scared the crap out of me, I said yes to it. And I knew that because I have integrity and I will complete a project and I will get it. I don't care if I have to stay up, and work a ton. I will get that thing done and you'll be happy, So I think that for me, my vision was small, and I've had to really evaluate where I was and make sure that my vision was sort of changing with me as these new opportunities presented themselves.
Can you tell us a couple of things that you might have done intentionally along the way as you worked to achieve your goal, maybe something that you didn't really want to do or was outside of your comfort zone, but you did it anyway to get you there?
Working a lot. Also, running a business requires you to wear a lot of hats, and some of those hats are very comfortable hats, and other hats you're like, this is not my zone of genius. I do not feel good here. But you don't really have a choice. And so I definitely had to wear a lot of hats that weren't super comfortable. And I had to face a lot of difficult things head on when really like going and getting under my blankets and like hiding from the world and just binging Netflix probably would have been more desirable, but there's a lot of things that come up. There were times where I was in the room with really powerful people that had accomplished so much more, and I was just this person who hadn't accomplished that much yet. And so I feel like I had to be courageous, and I had to keep believing in myself and say, you know what, keep working hard. Yeah.
Did any of these things get easier the more successful you became?
Yes. Yeah. I think that I believed in myself. I still face those things. I mean, if you talk to any of my employees, they would say, don't ever get complacent, because Jesse's not going to be complacent. She's going to want to keep moving and keep, learning and being better and just leveling up all the time. So I think that it's always a challenge, but I do think it has gotten a little easier to trust the process and to believe in myself.
Is there anything that you would change if you could go back and do it again in your journey?
I feel like part of me wants to say no, because the journey that I've had has gotten me to where I am, and I feel really happy and grateful for it. But I didn't have a mentor, and that's one of the things I think is so beautiful about this. Faith mentioned when you have like-minded people. Faith's been a gift because she's very like-minded. But if you have like-minded people, if you have a mentor, like there's resources that will help you achieve more and feel better along the way. And I think a mentor would have been really great. I'm still looking for one. So if anybody knows anybody who wants to be my mentor.
What's your vision now?
My vision has changed a little bit because I figured out the financial stability part. I've been doing this for like 10 years. So if I hadn't figured that out yet, that would be a problem. And I've proved the things to myself about being a good designer and being able to run a business and all of that. And now it's much more focused on, okay, how can I improve my leadership? And how can I mentor? And how can I continue to challenge myself? And how can I create a little bit more balance in my life? Because that was one of the regrets, I think, along the way. I was so dead set on my intent that I neglected a whole lot as far as work-life balance goes. So now it's a lot more about working smarter, not harder, giving to my people, giving to myself, and really assessing my why all the time and that vision.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you, Jesse. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate you being here. All right, guys, we are done. I was only 8 minutes late, but hold on. I just want to say that as you leave here today, think about what it means to be intentional, not only with your growth, but where you're going in life. Start working on those vision statements. Make sure you're working towards something. All right, now you guys can all go back to work and have a great day.